Former President Donald Trump risks 5 to 20 years in prison if convicted of election fraud in Georgia. A presidential pardon is not an option. Donald Trump has received a new and, presumably, final indictment, bringing his total to 4, an absolute record for a former president. This time around, the trial will take place in the swing state of Georgia, and the defendants will include the billionaire, his lawyer Rudy Giuliani, and Meadows, who served as Trump's chief of staff. When the incumbent president refused to concede defeat in November 2020 and January 2021, he and his supporters pressured Georgian authorities to overturn the election results. Trump called Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and requested that he find the 12,000 votes he needed to defeat Joe Biden in Georgia. Biden had just won the state, a southern bastion that had eluded the Democrats since 1992. As a result of the conversation being recorded and released to the public, an investigation was launched, and 19 people were ultimately charged with various offenses. Fulton County's top prosecutor, Fani Willis, employed a Georgia statute targeting RICO in her case. The possible jail time increases from 5 years to 20 years. She issued a deadline for the suspects to surrender voluntarily by August 25, 2023, at a press conference in Atlanta. While the former president rejected all allegations of obstructing the election process when he appeared before a judge on Thursday, August 3, his attorney said that while still in office, the former president had urged Mike Pence to halt the process. Voting will continue for another week. Maybe it's not a mistake. The billionaire's defense team has been searching for an angle of attack in recent days. As a starting point, the well-known First Amendment to the United States Constitution was brought up. This amendment protects citizens from governmental interference in their right to free speech, which would shield Trump not just from his own lies but also from any pressure he might put on election officials. Trump then argued that he had good faith that he had won the election. Trump is rooting for the conservative majority Supreme Court to make the final call. The only hitch is that Trump admits defeat in a memo included in prosecutor Jack Smith's massive dossier. There were also witnesses, such as former Justice Minister William Barr, who confirmed that the sitting president had been removed from office. The attorney's current effort appears to be a risk. Donald Trump cannot pardon himself if he is elected. As expected, Trump reacted by accusing the inquiry of being a witch hunt, ignoring the reality that the indictment was reached by a group of ordinary people sitting as a grand jury and basing their decision on the evidence presented by the prosecutor. The Republican primary frontrunner has referred to the latter as a rabid partisan. As part of his attack on the prosecution in the Capitol attack case, Donald Trump criticized the judge selected to preside over the trial. One thing remains this time around: there is no way out for Donald Trump. Unlike there is divine intervention, if found guilty of one more count, Donald Trump will go to jail. A first in the history of the United States.